So today I'm going to take you through a glute activation sequence. The reason this is important is because a lot of us are sitting down at desks all day. And what happens when you're sitting down at a desk, your glutes become completely inactive. They literally go to sleep. And when that happens, your quads and your hip flexors work extra hard, which means they become really tight, and that can then cause problems for the lower back. So I'm going to take you through 4 exercises that ideally should be done every day. And I don't mean spending hours doing them. Once in the morning, once in the evening, about 10 minutes will make a big difference. If you don't know who I am, I'm Max Lowery, the author of the 2 Meal Day, and I run the website 2mealday.com. The 2 Meal Day is the simplest and most effective method of intermittent fasting. This first exercise, you're probably going to laugh when I start explaining it, but it's something that you can do at your desk. Ideally, if you're sitting at your desk and you start to feel that feeling when your bum's going numb, you stand up and do exactly what I'm about to show you. Okay, so I'll show you from the side. Stand up, toes pointing out slightly, feet wider than your shoulders. All you're going to do is clench your bum cheeks as hard as you can, literally as hard as you can, and you're going to hold it for as long as possible, because the biggest difficulty that most people have is actually understanding how to activate only their glutes rather than other muscles. So this is going to teach you that. So let's do it together, all right? So toes pointing out, feet wider than your shoulders. The first thing I want you to do is tilt your hips slightly, okay? See what I'm doing there? Rather than just standing relaxed like this, arched back, tilt hips slightly so your abs should be activated a bit. Then you're just going to squeeze as hard as you can. Okay, so imagine, you're at your desk, you're standing behind your chair, just stand there, arms crossed. You could be just, minding your own business. No one knows that you're clenching your butt cheeks as hard as you can. Okay, so already I'm starting to feel the burn. If I'm touching my butt cheeks, it's rock solid. Okay, if you were here, I'd get you to touch them right now, but unfortunately you're not. Okay, so squeeze hard, really hard, just until you can't do it any longer, and then relax, shake it off. At first, you might not feel like it's activating the right region, but honestly, the more you do it, the more you train the nervous system to recruit those glutes. Okay, so again, one more time. Toes pointing out, imagine you're standing behind your chair in the office, just squeeze as hard as you can. And you can do pulses as well. You can release, squeeze, make sure you're tilting those hips up, just like so. Maybe try not to do that too much. It might look a bit strange in the office, but just squeeze those glutes. And then you can, once you start to understand that, you can then incorporate it into, if you're walking up the stairs, on every step, squeeze glutes, squeeze glutes. And when you're walking, squeeze, squeeze. Because that's what it takes. You're just going to keep doing it to train your nervous system to recruit those glutes. So this next one, I'm going to have to thank Fonda, because this is called a Fonda. You may have seen her doing it. You're going to place one hand here. You're going to tilt your hips towards the ground, which she doesn't do. Okay, so this is how I'm adapting it for you. Tilt your hips towards the ground. So literally, my hips are almost facing the ground. Get comfortable. You can use this hand to balance. Then again, like I just taught you in the previous exercise, you squeeze your butt cheek, your toe is pointing towards the ground, and then you raise like so. Okay, and again, you might not feel it in the right place at first. You might be feeling it here, but adjust the position. If you're tilting your hips all the way around and your toe is pointing towards the ground, you should be feeling it here. Okay, but you've got to consciously squeeze that region first. So if you're not feeling it in the right place, stand up and do the previous exercise I showed you. Okay, let's go. Okay, and ideally you're going to go for 30 reps. Okay, I'm feeling it already because my nervous system has been recruiting my glutes properly for a while now because I've trained myself to. At first, it might take longer for it to activate. So I'm going to say about 30 reps. After about 30 reps, you should be feeling it. Okay, you can get comfortable. You can rest your hand down here. Rest your head down. Keep tilting those hips. Make sure you don't come over here at any point. Okay, I'm properly squeezing this glute each time. And relax there. So right there, it's burning. That burning sensation in the glute means that you've activated it properly. And then I'm just going to go over to the other side and do the same thing. So again, tilt hips, squeeze glute, hand here, raise up. Okay, don't be twisting your hips over this way. One side might feel easier to activate than the other. That's completely normal. It's the same for me. I think my left side is a bit easier to activate than my right side for some reason. But I'm feeling the burn already in here. Squeezing the glutes. So at the bottom of each one, I'm squeezing and holding the squeeze all the way up. Okay, so remember, it's all about that mind-body connection. That's what makes a big difference when you're training. Good, relax there. Feeling that burn. So with this one, do it before bed, do it first thing in the morning, do it in the office if you can. Might look a bit strange, but the more you do it, the better. If you're not feeling at the right place initially, just keep at it, keep remembering all those teaching points, and eventually you will start to feel it in the right place. So this next exercise is called the frog pulse. It takes a bit more getting used to than the other exercises, but it's very effective. I only recently came across it from a guy called Brett Contreras, also known as the glute guy. You should check him out. He's got lots of information about glute activation and exercises. So I'm going to show you it now. As I said, it does look kind of strange. Don't worry if lots of people are staring at you when you do this. Just remember why you're doing it, and it's all good. Ignore everyone else. So you're going to have your knees really wide, your feet as close towards your bum as you can. And the first thing you want to do is you tilt your hips up. So you're activating your abs, and already you're squeezing glutes. Okay, so already before you even started to pulse, you're squeezing your glutes. From here, you're going to raise up, like so. Okay, it doesn't have to be a huge range of motion. You know, you shouldn't be lifting all the way like this, because look, my back is arched the other way, and I'm just feeling my back and not feeling my glutes. You need your hips tilting up, like when you're doing a hollow hold, this position. Okay, hips tilting up, and then squeeze glutes and raise. Okay, you're constantly squeezing, clenching butt cheeks, just like you did in the standing up ones. Okay, clench those butt cheeks the whole time. Connect your mind and your body and feel the burn. Okay, so I'm feeling that already. It's starting to activate, it's starting to burn. It might take you longer. Keep it up, keep squeezing those glutes. If you've got really tight inner thighs, you might need to spend some time loosening off those first, because you won't necessarily feel it in the glutes if you're really tight here. Okay, so you can just do the other 3 exercises and work on releasing your inner thighs. Okay, so my bum isn't even lifting that far off the ground, guys. It's not about that. So it's just about getting that glute activation. If you were to come and touch here, rock solid right here. Rock solid butt cheeks. That's what you need. Tilt hips up. Gonna go 5 more. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. So just like the other ones, you can do all 4 of these exercises together, or you can do them singly wherever you can, but the more you do them, the better. So this next exercise is a sumo squat or plie squat. And the reason we do it in the plie position, which I'll show you in a second, is because you get more glute activation. If you've noticed, in each exercise, there's been more movement with the rest of your body. So it's important that you do them in this order. So you do the squeezing first, Jane Fonda's next, frog pulse, and then the squats. Because if you start doing the squats first, and you haven't got the glute activation down, then you're going to fit it in all the wrong places. But we're working up towards, you know, just feeling it in the glutes whenever you're doing these squats. Okay? So with the plie squat, you have your toes pointing out. That's the difference. So normally you're a bit closer, toes pointing this way. I want your toes pointing out, because that's going to encourage activation of the glute. Okay, so basically, slightly different from a normal squat. I want you to stick your bum back and then push your knees out in the same direction as your toes. Okay, might look kind of strange. Go down to about 90 degrees, and then again, as soon as you come up, you're squeezing, 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 squeezing. Okay, so this position I'm in now is exactly the same as when you're just standing, squeezing glutes. It's the same thing. We're just adding a squat into it. So bum back, knees out, push your arms forward, tap, squeeze, 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 squeeze. And again, if your inner thighs are really tight, it's going to inhibit you from using your glutes properly. Okay, so you probably need to do some inner thigh stretches. Okay, so bum back, knees out, down, really controlled, squeeze, 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 squeeze. Okay, and I don't mean lean back. You're just tilting hips, squeezing glutes. It's really important you get used to that. Again, if it doesn't make sense, just keep it up. Eventually, your brain will understand what you're trying to tell your muscles to do. Bum back. Squeeze. Let's do 5 more. See how controlled I'm doing it? I'm not just bouncing up and down, it's controlled, up, 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 up. I relax there. Like I mentioned earlier, these exercises are most effective when you're doing them a little bit regularly. So twice a day, spend about 10 minutes doing it. It'll be really, really effective. You don't have to go to a gym. It can be done in the comfort of your own home, or like I said, there's 1 or 2 of them that could potentially be done in your office. But the more you do them, the more you train your nervous system to recruit those glutes. If you enjoyed this video, please hit subscribe, leave me some comments. I love to hear feedback.